Hey everybody, I am very excited today as part of the Alchemy community to bring in a conversation with Scott Harris, who is a superstar doing some amazing things. Scott got on the radar with my team because you had an article, Scott, in Risk Media, I believe. And we were like, wait a minute, what's this guy doing? And since we love to talk to successful agents and brokers and investors in today's market, we thought we'd create a conversation and pull some of the goods out. So welcome, Scott. Thank you for being here.
Brandon, thanks for having me.
So, Scott, let's just start with a brief bio background. Who are you and what are you doing? Where do you work? What's the name of your business and that sort of thing?
Well, my name is Scott Harris. I'm an associate broker at Brown Harris Stevens based in Manhattan in New York City. I've run a team that I call the Harris Residential Team underneath the umbrella of Brown Harris Stevens. I've been an agent for over 20 years. You can check out what we are doing at harrisresidential.com. We focus strictly in Manhattan and Brooklyn. And I have a team of 9 people, which includes a lot of salespeople, plus all of the very important support around the business that we're doing. And we've been at it for a long time and having a great time doing it.
Right. Well, so, we were discussing before we came live here that I've been in business for about the same period of time. So I know that you have seen a variety of different market conditions in that 20 years. This isn't your first rodeo, so to speak. So I'm curious, as a starter question, how are you keeping your head in the game in today's market? And how are you helping agents in your organization that maybe this is the first time they've experienced something other than a runaway market still succeed? So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I try, we actually as a team will meet twice a week as a team. And on Mondays we meet and it's our motivation meeting. So it's really like we focus on getting into a state of mind that we're more creative and more engaged. We get to know each other. What are you grateful for? What are you proud of? Like things that are not necessarily business related, because we're all in this together. We need to know each other. And I think what we're doing that I think sets us apart is, as a team, as a sales organization, is that we're focused on the things we can do, the things we can control. And I think a lot of people get sucked into this, to the noise. There's always some noise and news that can get you down. And we're focused on, okay, sure, there's a NAR settlement, there are lawsuits, there's high mortgage rates, but there's always something that you can worry about if you want to. Instead, how about you just focus on blocking and tackling, to use a football metaphor? How
Yes.
about you just focus on, hey, call the people, do the networking, grow your referral network, ask for business, care, give, be generous with your time, and it comes back. And if you just focus on the things you can control and let the rest slide, I think you're in much better shape. And I think that's the message I'm constantly hammering people, like, focus on what you can do. There's a certain number of transactions in any market. When the market's a little softer, you want to gain market share, right? And then if the market's picking up, then you get to benefit like everybody else with more sales volume.
I love that.
That's kind of what I thought this year would be more of a rising market where we could just enjoy it and ride out, but it's proved to be a time where we need to be a little bit more, okay, we just got to pick up more market share and do the things that other agents have decided not to do for any number of reasons.
Yeah, I mean, fundamentally, you have a choice, even if it doesn't feel like it, perhaps, which is you can focus on those external circumstances, which, as you just mentioned, there's always something going on to distract you. Or you can focus on what is a tried and true approach to relationships and sales and blocking and tackling, as you're saying. So how then do you, on these meetings, I love the Monday motivation meeting, how do you keep people focused on those activities when we have an ability sometimes to get a piece of business, fall in love with the piece of business because we finally have a piece of business, or we have a really big piece of business, and then we let some of these other activities that continue to feed the business drop in lieu of this one piece of business that we really want to focus on. So how do you help people or coach people to balance both of those dynamics?
I mean, first, let me just say, Brandon, like it's hard sometimes, right? Like it's a challenge. And I would say that in different periods of my career, I've struggled with prior time management with, just like everyone else. And I think you kind of, your business grows a bit and you feel overwhelmed. You're like, I can't take any more on. And then you have to kind of, you're either going to let some business go or you're going to have to change. And so what we're constantly trying to do is to say, okay, you want to grow. What are the parts of your business you're really good at? So some agents are better working with buyers and some are better working on listings. And you have to kind of have an honest chat with yourself and go, maybe I'm pretty balanced, but maybe you really don't like the administrative. Maybe you don't like setting up tours. The team structure is something that is more and more common because people do realize they have a certain skill. And the more time you spend on that part, the more money you make ultimately, because you can do more of the activities that will grow business. And so I encourage everyone to be thinking about what are your, and I point them out also. Like, you're really good at this.
Yeah, that's right.
You're better at this than I am. Like I'm constantly trying to help people build their muscles of the things they're good at, not always like, well, you're not good at this, so do more of that. No, I think it's the other. I think you lean into what you're good at. But the way we keep people motivated, I think, for us, it's as a team, we take what we call the lead measures. What are the things you're doing that are going to set you up for success later? And like measure those. Like every week we have meetings. Karen, who's my incredible director of operations, meets with everyone once a week to go through what are they doing. Lead measures, the things every week. Okay, well, I don't want to make phone calls, but then what happens is you have the lag measures, which we talk about as a team in our team meeting. Okay, who closed a deal? Who got a listing signed? And we generate a lot of excitement around that. But then you see that your numbers aren't maybe as where you want them to be. And, any good salesperson, that's going to light a fire. So it's like this, it's like a balance of nurturing, making sure that you remember why you're doing this in the first place. Because if you don't know why you're doing it, you better stop everything else you're doing and focus on, why is this important to me at all?
Right.
Why is helping people find a home important to you? That's the question you need to, and everyone has a different answer. For me, I was a kid of divorce. My parents moved. I moved back and forth 500 times before I was 18, broken home, right? And when I got into real estate, something about this helping people find a home, like it like helped me. It like helped heal something for me. And so doing this just feels so meaningful to me. And like, I wake up every morning, like I'm excited to do this because I get to help people. It's all about being of service to people. And we've had a great business, but like being of service for me is the first thing, helping people in and out of real estate, making connections, helping people get clients for their business, whatever it is, it's about service. And if you really know the why, what drives you, it's much easier to do the calls because it isn't about you. You're doing it to help someone else. So you have to find that why inside of you. And then that kind of, to me, drives, I found it for my team to drive everything, every action they take.
How have you kept your why fresh and meaningful for the last 20 years? Right? Your life has changed, the ups and downs. You're coming today, you got all kinds of energy. So how have you kept it fresh and interesting and not been subject to extreme burnout? Or maybe you have been and you just worked through that.
Yeah, I mean, I like to take these very public opportunities to like humanize myself. 10 years ago, I had my best year in real estate. I think we sold, I don't know, I think at the time I was just really, the team was much smaller. Maybe it was $75 million. I don't remember what the sales volume was, but, and I made more money than I ever had. And I was never less happy. I was so unhappy. And I said, something has to give.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, I got to figure this out because I'm burned out. At the time, I guess I had 2 kids. Now I have 3. It was like, something's got to change. And so I started meeting with coaches and started working on it and then got more in touch with all of the stuff we're talking about. And, fast forward to now, what's kept it fresh for me is that it's real estate for me is the vehicle for what I'm doing. right? I feel like, and I've gotten to a point where I can really add a lot of value, but it's in helping people move forward in their life. Real estate happens to be the vehicle, but it's not who I am. Does that make sense? So it's
Absolutely.
like constantly understanding, like, what are you up to in the world and what are you trying to do? And what's the best thing in your toolbox to do it? So I'm just looking for more tools. So I stay excited because, like, I started a podcast, or, started doing more videos, different avenues to do what I want to do and inspire people,
Yeah.
my clients. And I would say since COVID, I've really gotten excited about helping the brokerage community. We have a brokerage community in New York City of almost 30,000 agents, plus or minus, across the whole. Like, I send an email out to 10,000 agents. So during COVID, it was like, what can we do as an industry? I was
Yes.
like, the more I help everyone succeed, the more we succeed.
Yeah.
So it really, it's like everywhere it's about service. So I would say that's how I keep myself motivated. It's like, I want to help people, agents, buyers, sellers, anybody.
So I love that. I resonate with that. It does feel like in the times of my life where I've been burned out, it's because I've sort of collapsed my personal and professional capacities into one and have forgotten like who I am, and I happen to be in the real estate profession. So I really, really like that. Let me ask a related but different question. Let's face it, there's a lot of people in the industry that love to help people, but never get a successful business going, or it's never really successful to the degree to which they want it to be. So what's that next, which is, you love your service, but there's something else going on too that's causing you to run a really great business. What is that?
Um, what I over time realized that it's never been about real estate on some level. It's always been people first. And so, like, if I can help someone with whatever, I was always the person that was like, I meet someone, I was like the bartender. Everybody just wanted to tell me their stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I just listen, no judgment. Here's a safe space where we can just talk. And I would uncover opportunities for whatever it is. And so when I didn't know as much about real estate, if I could be of value in that way, it was like just adding value to people's lives. And when you help someone get land their biggest client, you're putting deposits in, I like use the bank of the universe. Like, stuff's going to come back. So I feel like I always wanted to help people. And in doing that, I was also getting better at real estate. So I would say it's like when, Gary, what's the guy who wrote the $1 Million Agent?
Gary Keller.
Gary
Yeah.
Keller, right? So they talk about asking for referrals. And I think a lot of people like put blinders on and think all they're doing is asking for real estate business. And they forget, like, it's about, you're an amazing, everyone's 3D person. They've got so much to offer. And so, like, offer your whole self. And I think in doing that, you connect better to people. You're not looking to them as a cardboard cutout buyer seller. They're people who are moving. It's like the more you think about them as people, the more that you'll be able to grow. But what does that look like? I mean, I think for me, I'm the kind of person that can build like a vision, like, I can really work. I'm guiding them towards this thing in their life. And I can kind of, I'm the captain of the ship. So I think in terms of how it comes together, it's a mission that we're on together. It's not like and I have to believe it, like, in my whole body, that it's going to happen. It's not maybe, it's like this real belief that we can make it happen at whatever price point. And I think if someone's like wishy-washy, they're doubting themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, rates are this, like all the things, again, that people can focus on, it like dilutes your strength as an agent. And like, because things always go wrong. Things are always, going whichever direction. So really holding, like, we're going to make this happen. There's no question. It may take a little longer, but it's going to happen. And it's like something about that firm belief, I feel like is an energy that people are like, I didn't, like they can borrow my faith, they can borrow my energy to get there, because buyers they freak out, personal issues come, like all their baggage shows up. It's inevitable. So you have to be like the calm in the storm.
Hmm.
You can't get caught up in it. You can't be worrying about whether you're going to pay the bills for the month. It doesn't, that none of that helps you. So I think they don't realize how they get caught up in their own stuff and how that distracts them from just being able to get it done for their clients. It has to be a very selfless act, and then in turn it works out great for you. I don't. It's kind of a.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's I don't know if that answers the question, but it.
Well, what I hear in that, and what I'm hearing overall, what you're saying, that you have a real commitment to three things that have come out in just our short time together so far. One is a commitment to vision and saying, we're going there. How we get there, by when we get there, with whom we get there, we'll see, but we're going there. So you've pulled together the presence and the power to create a vision and move to it. So a real commitment towards vision. The other thing I heard is a commitment towards relationships, that you've said multiple times that you're doing this with other people, you're helping other people. As a matter of fact, I don't think you said anything about yourself in that way. It's all about relationships, I think, is what I'm hearing from you. And then what we started with is it's a real commitment to activity, that you've got these lag outcomes, these goals that you want to hit. Unless you're doing the work every day and every week, it's just going to remain a dream. That's kind of how I'm hearing things. Does that resonate?
Yeah, that's exactly right. There's always something you can do to move your business forward. There's always something you can do to move your clients' deals forward. And by the way, sometimes what you can do is nothing.
Oh,
People think that doing nothing is nothing. Sometimes the answer is not to call them.
shut up. Don't call.
Stop talking.
Yeah. Yes.
Go do something else.
Yeah.
Give them the week.
Yes.
So I think there's a real
More
power.
often than not, the answer is do nothing.
Do nothing. But that's a decision that you make. Don't do nothing, like be very intentional about it. But yes, it's a very people-centered thing. And yes, doing the things you can do include going to see properties, getting on the phone with your colleagues, learning the market, reading articles, studying what's going on, market trends, talking to managers, there's so much conversation that can happen where you can absorb these things, learn, read books about real estate, read books about building business. Yeah. This is not my long time ago, someone said, this isn't the real estate friends, this is the real estate business. And as much as it's about relationship building, you still have to run a business.
Yes, right. Yes, and I love that. That's brilliant. The clarity to say I've done something and now I need to choose to do nothing, i.e., I followed up with that client and now I'm going to let them think about it for a week and not hit them again the next day, right? So that's wise. I think that's really about gauging the energy around that situation and that relationship, and knowing that your role could very well be a silent partner in that moment in time. That's powerful. We could dive into that concept for 30 minutes. So, we're running out of time here. And unfortunately, we should schedule a lot more time together, Scott. This is fantastic. And so let me ask you a final question. As you look forward to the rest of the year, you're motivating your team, you're looking at the summer. Do you have any words of advice for folks to think about 2024 and make sure that they're positioning themselves in the most productive way so that they can make this year the best year they've ever had?
So I was talking to my team a couple days ago about just this. The summer, in this moment, you're not halfway through the year, right? There's another month until the end of the quarter, and people go, "Oh, it's summer." Maybe they've had a good front half of the year, maybe they haven't, and there's this tendency to take your foot off the gas. Yeah. What I'm telling them is actually no. Let everyone else take their foot off the gas. Be the agent that takes the extra actions now, because no one's reaching out to those people to encourage them about the opportunities in their market, right? There's always opportunity at every part of a market cycle. Like somebody got a good deal yesterday. Somebody's going to get a good deal tomorrow. It should be you. So take the action. So, it's always, I think for us, it's like, do the things you can control. And right now that means pick up the phone and be excited. But in the summer, and also like if something's not working, take a chance to stop every week or every month and look at your business, what's working, where your deal's coming from. Slow down a little and like take, if something's not working, do less of that and lean into the thing that's working. Is certain advertising working? Lead generation, is that working? Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Don't be afraid to pivot. I have to tell people all the time, because I'm kind of a excited person, that when I talk to the team, I don't always have the plan. It's not always a plan. I have to talk in order to know what I'm thinking. So like I tell people, this isn't a plan. This is me brainstorming. So, talk to people, communicate what you're, have an accountability, use your manager or hire a business coach. There's you can't be successful unless you are open to the possibility that you don't know everything.
The possibility.
The possibility.
Well, thank you, Scott. So one more time, how can people reach you in the best way manner if they're inspired by what you have to say, or they've got a piece of business they want to send your way? What's the best way to do that?
They can go, if they want to go on to social media, if you go to LinkedIn, I'm very active there. I share a lot about what's going on with the New York City real estate market and my thoughts about just being in, the ways that I think people can be inspired there. They can go to harrisresidential.com, which is our team's website. I have a book that's coming out next year, which is called The Pursuit of Home. Nice. And we also have a podcast by the same name. So the book is about the buyer journey. So there's a lot of what I'm thinking about, all of the people-focused business that we run, which we call visionary brokerage. There's a lot going on that I'm writing about that will end up in the book as well. So I'd love to talk to people. We love nothing more than to send people referral checks. That's a lot of fun. And take good care of their clients. So that'd be great.
Thank you, Scott, for being here, and very exciting. We'll have you back, talk more about the book and some of this other stuff that we didn't have time to get into today. Thank you for your contribution to the Alchemy community today, Scott.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.